stream, but then we can start.
We can
to
start
like,
now.
I'll let you know when it goes through, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, sorry. It takes like a few seconds. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, well, welcome to the Community Facilities District Committee meeting, everybody. And I'd like to start with a call to order here at 11:01 a.m. And acknowledgement that we read at the beginning of all of our meetings. The Altadena Library District acknowledges its presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. Altadena is located on the stolen homelands of the Hahamanga tribal band. The traditional territory of the Gabrielino Tongva is referred to as Tongvagar, which includes the area known as Los Angeles County, Riverside County, West San Bernardino County, parts of Orange County, as well as the four southern Channel Islands. Entities such as the U.S. government and non-native, I can't read that word.
Settlers?
Settlers have subjected Gabriel and Tongva people to historic and continuing injustices, including genocide, forced displacement, and cultural and linguistic erasure. Altadena Library commits to learning, educating, and informing its staff and residents of present-day Altadena about the rich histories, vibrant communities, and culture of the Gabrielano Tongva people, present and past, through our collection, development, resources, and program offerings. So with that, I'd like to open the session with a roll call. Member Cauliflower?
Here.
Trustee Lim?
Here.
Trustee Andrews is here, so we're all present and accounted for. And then I'd like to ask, are there any reordering of the agenda items by members?
Not me.
Okay. So could I get a
I'll move to approve the
move to
agenda.
approve the agenda? Thank you. And quick roll call. Trustee Andrews, aye. Trustee Lynn.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
All aye. So all is unanimous aye vote. And we're skipping to, I opened up on the wrong page here, everybody. Are we doing with that?
Mhm.
Okay. Now we're on to the consent calendar, and we'd like to approve the minutes unless there are any changes.
April 10th.
Since I was in
Okay. So
I'll move to approve as submitted.
and I'll second. Get mine in there once.
the.
So let me get I vote for approving the minutes. Member Cauliflower,
Aye.
Mr. Member Lynn,
Aye.
and Mr. Andrews, aye as well.
Would he abstain since he
Yeah,
wasn't
you-
here?
Oh, yes. Okay, I am.
But I don't.
No, you still vote to approve. Right.
Yeah,
Trustee.
something.
I can amend that if not, yeah.
And we did skip over public comment of non-agenda items. Do we have any?
There's no public comment.
So no worries.
So it's been a while since I did. So are we on to current business now? Is there something else I need to review
There is, yeah, new business.
here? Okay, so moving on, we'll get a report from Christie, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. You can take it away, Christie, thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you can see me all right. Yes, okay, so the financials for this meeting are through May. We didn't quite have the year end wrapped up yet, but through May, the first page in the agenda, I think it's labeled as page 6, page 7 it looks like, is just what's occurring from the actual building funds, meaning the grants and the bond proceeds. So from that, you can see activity picking up a little bit, primarily it looks like we're picking up a little bit more for Bob Lucas. And then still in the planning stages for the main library. So about $900,000 in expenses. This doesn't show the grant income that came in this year. It's just showing activity for the year, which has been quite a bit of interest income, well above what was budgeted. So that's just a summary snapshot of only this year's activity. The next page, page 8, is what's year to date, or excuse me, project to date. So going back to March of 22 through May of 24, so just over 2 years of activity, and letting you know that proceeds that have come in so far, $27.5 million. A small part of that was also funded from general fund, that $28,000 that went directly toward legal expenses. The admin and salaries together about 54,000. And then the renovation costs. You can see there the project management, the plan check, studies, all broken out into the areas, architect and legal fees, which to date leaves us at about $25.5 million remaining in funds to be spent. All of those are invested, whether it be at US Bank or at with class. And you might recall the last meeting, those investments were moved to get a little higher returns. So they're both earning anywhere from 4 to 5.5%, depending on where they're invested. The most useful page probably at this point is page 9, and you can see in the detailed what vendors are being paid against what categories. So you can see now we're getting a little more in for the architect and the studies. Let's see, legal, yeah. Architect expenses, plan checks, studies, looks like is all the categories that we have for now. And to date, expenses on those about $1.9 million. Any questions on that information?
Christy, so for page 8, under grant proceeds, we have 3.7. Are we gonna have an updated one for FY24 because we were approved?
So at the bottom is the footnote that mentions that the total grant can be up to 7.579. That's the amount we're approved to. We've only received the 3.8 in advance, so that's all that can be recorded. The second phase of it will be reimbursement. So as the expense, so in this case, they gave us the money, which is great. It's invested. The district has that money invested and spends it down. The second phase, I believe, will be all reimbursement. Spend the money, reimburse on a regular basis to get that into the account. But you're right, the total is on there at the bottom is the total.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I noticed that the legal fees for Best and Krieger are pretty low. Is there a time when that gets a little bit more active, the legal fees, or should we keep an eye on that?
Well, we switched law firms.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, we're Chronic, the one that's line 10 is our new law
Okay.
firm. That's where all of the legal expenditures will be in that line moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
And they've been primarily doing the RFP checks, I guess.
Yeah, they helped us write the RFP. They also helped with the contracting when we hired the construction firm. They'll do the same thing this coming year as we move into main construction as well. So we're hopeful it'll be a lot less since we already put together the RFP. It'll just need some tweaking rather than like starting from scratch. But we did budget for, what did we budget? Like 40,000, Christy, or something like that?
Yes, or I think it was 40,000 all in capital, nothing for general fund this year.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
Which we hope it won't even be that much, but.
Okay, that's all I have on this topic. I think we're going to move into the taxes next, but unless there are other questions, that's all I have for now.
All good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad we caught the interest thing because we've been making a lot of interest since we made the move
Correct,
after the last meeting, so.
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so agenda item 5B. So this is the annual resolution that we need to bring forward to set the special tax rate related to also known as Measure Z. This will be the last year that it will solely be used to cover the debt service payment as well as administrative costs for overseeing the work that goes into this. Next year, because Measure A funding will be sunsetting, this is the last year we'll be receiving Measure A funds. This will then set the rate that will include service and operational. So again, this year's budget was established at $1,297,230.20. You can see a breakout of what that includes on page 12, which also shows you what it was this past year. So interestingly, if you take a look compared to last year's rate, it went down a little bit. So this last year, the rate was 0.051 cents per square foot of single family homes. This year's will be 0.050. We do have Charmaine on the line for questions, but I believe that went down a little bit because there's more parcels. Like if you look at the numbers provided by the county, which are also showing on page 12, parcels went up by about almost 25. So it was divided across 25 more properties, which is why I'm assuming it went down a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know where they found 25 new parcels.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But
Doug.
you're never sad when the rate goes down a little bit. So again, as I mentioned, this is meant to cover administrative costs, and then like the bulk of the money that we collect goes to pay the debt service payment back to the bondholders. And we also included an anticipated delinquency of 38,000 based on historical data. And then of course, starting on page 13 is the actual resolution, which we will, once this is approved, file with the county that will get us on the tax roll by the deadline. Charmaine, is there anything I left out that you want to add?
I believe that's everything covered.
Okay. Yay. Did it. Any questions?
So are we on to approving the resolution now, or recommending the resolution?
So yeah, the recommendation from us is that the committee reviews and recommends approval to the full board. The meeting has been rescheduled to August 1st. So like as long as you guys vote, you're voting to recommend that the board approve the rates.
It's nice to give money back. So I move to approve the 0.051.
050.
Oh, 050. Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
trustee Lamb,
I
and as an I vote for me, Terry Andrews.
Excellent.
So that is done then, right?
That is done. So moving into announcements and planning. Any proposed future agenda items, things that you think we need to bring forward off the tops of your heads?
Nothing comes to mind.
As usual, if there are, just reach out to me or Catalina.
Okay. It looks like everything's being managed really well, so.
Yeah. With the grant funding, I think Christy would agree with me that like it's really forced us to be very, very meticulous about how we account for everything. Because with the main library project, like a lot of the project now, but certain parts of it don't apply for the grant funds, or like we can't use them towards. And then we have to show matching that we're spending equally on what we're getting reimbursed. So it's really forced us to do very meticulous accounting around the building projects.
don't need any money.
Oh, we're trying not to.
And
Yeah, would
just
you agree with that, Christy? Sorry.
yes, I would agree. And that Jennifer Pearson and I also have been corresponding regularly to make sure that as the project shifts and more expenses move between Bob Lucas to Maine, that we're increasing our allocation of expenses toward the grant. Because the Bob Lucas Memorial, those costs are not eligible, but more and more we're getting into the main library. So she and I connect enough to make sure that we're allocating invoices correctly, and that, as Nikki said, we have meticulous records if they come back to ask what we've submitted in those reports. So good communication as the projects move along.
How is progress on Bob Lucas? Are we on track?
Yeah, things are going good. They were excavating and then had to get grading permits, which they
Right.
did get. So now is when they're saying we're gonna really start noticing construction because they needed those permits to get moving, but. Yeah, the facilities committee actually meets at 11:30 on Mondays each week. And our construction manager with Rackland Partners attends. And then every Thursday, there's a meeting with him, our facilities manager, David, our IT manager, and the construction company. So yeah, they're moving.
Okay,
Looking
good. And the spend plan is okay so far?
The what?
Spend plan, like
Yes,
we're at 800, 3 million. we're on, okay.
I mean,
No
we paid
uppers?
we paid a couple bills to Monet, not close to 800, but I think as things ramp up with
Right.
construction, that'll be ever increasing.
It's still looking like April, things will be done.
The date they gave us was May 5th, and as
Okay.
far as I know, that's the plan still. So, yeah, things are looking good.
All right, well, I guess we are adjourned, is that right?
Move to adjourn.
Let's say we're
I will move
adjourned.
to adjourn.
Damn, wow, 15-minute meeting. Well done.
And
Thank you, Christy. Thank you,
Yep,
Charmaine.
thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
thank you.